Hey, what's going on? Word of the day Wednesday. Once again, just got done with an awesome Bible study with some really great people. Telling you, reading the basic instructions before leaving Earth, before it's right around that time of leaving Earth is awesome. Going through this book, kind of taking a couple of weeks off of showing you guys the devotions from this, but every once in a while there's something that just really sticks out over my normal reading. So Gospels interwoven, going through the Gospels, and man, it's just awesome. It's just awesome to read about Jesus, read about his travels and everything. They talk about, seeing, the story of Jesus like a mirror, this is how, we're called to live like him. And so it's super cool when you see how he interacts with people and all this stuff. And gives us a motivation and an inspiration to do likewise. And so today we are on the triumphal entry. Okay, so this is kind of coming to the tail end of his ministry, coming to a time of the Passover, which is a famous festivity. It's still famous, I guess. Yeah. But anyways, this whole story is, Jesus basically asking his disciples, or telling his disciples, that there's going to be a donkey and an unridden colt, like a colt that's, young and hasn't been ridden before. And I want you to go untie them. And if anyone asks you, what's going on? What are you doing? Just tell them that the Lord needs them, right? And it's it takes a lot of faith. I kind of empathize with the disciples at this point. And it's funny because the two disciples that went to go do this are unnamed, and so, I could imagine drawing the short straw to go do this crazy thing. Oh, for real? Think about nowadays, if somebody just came up to you, or you're coming out of work or whatever, and somebody gets in your car, and you're like, what are you doing? What's going on? And they're like, oh, don't trip, the Lord needs this car. You're like, what the heck? It's crazy, but that's literally what happened. And it's it's really crazy because the guy had no objection, right? It says the disciples went and did it as Jesus instructed them. They found the colt just as he had told them, right? And it's think about this, just how spot on Jesus was. He said, you're gonna find this colt and this donkey, boom, and then his words came true, and he was faithful in what he was saying, which I feel gives so much confidence. And this isn't the first time. Everything that Jesus had told the disciples up to this point had come to pass. And so, God shows himself faithful, through action, not just his words. And I feel he's constantly trying to help us, and he doesn't want to just, say he's faithful. He wants to be found faithful, and so you could take that to the bank, if he's promised you something in this season, or, if he's promised you that he's going to take care of your situation, that you're going to be able to overcome this hard, trial, or, that you're going to get a promise of, just peace, or peace in your relationship, whatever, God will be found faithful. His words will come to pass. But so they're untying the colt, and his owners asked him, what are you doing? Just like any owner would. If somebody just got in my car, I'm like, what's going on? Why are you untying that colt? They answered as Jesus had told them, the Lord needs it. And the people let them go, and it's just really interesting, right? But it really got to this point of when God causes us or teaches us to obey. When our obedience is costly, that's what causes our faith to grow. When we are called to step out into costly obedience, if my obedience costs me something, just like this guy, he had two modes of transportation, right? Like he had a donkey and a colt. It's kind of like, man, maybe he had a Honda and a Toyota truck. You know what I'm saying? And man, they took both of them. It's like, shoot, how is he gonna get to work that day, right? But I almost think that, man, God was preparing his heart for this moment. Maybe he spoke to him in a dream, or maybe, man, he just put an impression on his heart that, like, you know what, like God's gonna use me one day, like, powerfully, and I just need to obey, and that's typically like what he does, and whatever, at work or in a relationship or wherever we're at. God just puts impressions on our heart to obey and to follow his leading. And we have an opportunity to do that, even if it costs us something. And it's those times where obedience is the most costly that our faith grows the most. That's what I want to leave you guys with. And man, it's a super awesome story, as Jesus rides in on this donkey. And I'm like, man, you know what, Jesus, if you want to, man, use my Honda, use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you gave it to me anyway, right? So, man, I hope you guys have a blessed day. Hope you guys were encouraged with this word.